Hello, my wonderful friends. Magus here, back in the library. Chapter 11 of Circe. Oh my God. I felt so much. You know what it made me think of? Frederick Bachman, right? When you read Frederick Bachman, every chapter, when you're done, you hold it to your chest and you're overwhelmed with some emotion, be it sadness or laughter, or he's drawn something out of you. That was chapter 11 in Circe for me. I read it twice before I even grabbed the camera because, you know, you guys read this, right? So I'm thinking, what do I have to offer, and so I wanted to dig in and try to see, like I always do, what's the magic in that writing? Why are we feeling so strong with this? So let's do that together. Real quick, thank you guys. Yesterday's video was a long one. I was shocked by how many of you stayed through the whole thing. I thought maybe I'd be lucky if there was a couple. Many of you stayed and watched the whole thing. I was so happy. Wow. I love you. It meant the world to me that you just want to spend time with me because I love spending time with you guys. Chapter 11, this part here. Whatever became of the white bull, do you know? No, it vanished when Pasiphae began to swell. The priest said it was the bull's final blessing. Today I heard someone say that the monster is a gift from the gods to help us prosper. It's one of those, you either have to laugh or cry. I decided to chuckle about that. Oh my gosh. Oh, Madeline Miller. Speaking of Madeline Miller, she made me feel for the monster. How do you do that? My heart went out to this monster. Oh my gosh. Circe, she says, "Come," I whispered. And it did, crouching and stumbling a little as it passed through the cage's small opening. It looked up at me expectantly, almost sweetly. My brother, how do you say her name? Ariadne? I have no idea, guys. But, the little princess, she sounds like a little angel. I'm so bad at pronouncing names. But it says, my brother, Ariadne, had called it, but this creature had not been made for any family. It was my sister's triumph, her ambition, made flesh, her whip to use against Minos. In thanks, it would know no comrade, no lover. It would never see the sun, never take a free step. There was nothing it might ever have in the world but hatred and darkness and its teeth. It just made me think to that paragraph before that this was a gift from the gods to help us prosper. I don't want to get off on one of my magi trips, but this is why I teach Zoroastrianism. We shouldn't be calling these gods because God means the highest principle of good, and these gods are no good. She says, I picked up the old cage and stepped back. It watched me as I moved away, its head tilted with curiosity. I shut the cage door. Its ears flicked at the metallic sound. When harvest came, it would scream and rage. It would tear at the bars, trying to rip them apart. I got emotional. This is the third time I've read it now today, and I still got emotional. It still ripped at my heart. This little creature, this little being, just a pawn, breaks my heart. Now she meets Daedalus' son, Icarus. Right? And she's catching on. Oh, remember we were saying, what is this secret? What is Pasiphae holding over Daedalus? It's a child. Oh, should I just read this? This is also the magic of Madeline Miller. she draws on your own experiences, right? In this paragraph here, she made me, as she's describing Icarus and his little face and the relationship with his dad, it takes me into my memory of my son at that age. And so that's it. It pulls on your memories, your heart, right? And I think that's where a lot of the magic comes from. And a good writer knows how to do that. But she also uses a lot of detail. Someone that maybe didn't even have a child, she uses so much detail in her writing in a good way, right? She, like there's some that are just so common, like her eyes were like blue pools, things like that are so cheesy, overdone, not effective. Madeline Miller, she uses her words to describe something, but in a way that is so artistic, so beautiful, so unheard of before. And at the same time, tugging at memories that you're thinking, oh, I get that, right? And you can picture it, and it really draws you into the story. Let me read this. My son, Daedalus, said, I stared. I had not considered that Daedalus' secret could be a child. The boy knelt like an infant courtier. Noble lady, he piped, I welcome you to my father's house. Thank you, I said. Are you a good boy for your father? He nodded seriously. Oh, yes. Daedalus laughed. Don't believe a word. He looks sweet as cream, but he does what he wants. The boy smiled at his father. It was an old joke between them. He stayed for some time prattling of his father's work and how he helped. He brought tongs out that he liked to use and showed me with a practiced grip how he could hold them in the fire and not be burned. I noted, but it was his father I watched. Daedalus's face had gone soft as ripe fruit, his eyes full and shining. I had never thought of having children, but looking at him for a moment, I could imagine it as if I peered into a well and far below glimpsed a flash of water. And I've seen his, she said he was 4 years old, his little round babyish still face, sweetest face she'd ever seen, even more than the gods. So I'm picturing this and this loving relationship of this child. But then it made me think of the Minotaur, right? It's kind of the contrast of the two children, both children, very different situations, very different parents, very different futures, very different way they're treated. One's locked in a cage, right? But then Daedalus brings out something to Circe that even a golden cage is still a cage, because he wants his freedom from Pasiphae. So again, that tore at my heartstrings. I'm thinking of the Mentor. I'm thinking of that cute little baby face. I'm thinking of this, there's the obvious cage of the Minotaur, right? But then there's the golden cage of Daedalus and Icarus. It's just, I was fascinated by all of this. So Daedalus, he makes the maze, underneath the palace, the honeycomb with all the rooms and stuff. Oh... Let's see. What else did I highlight here? What do you guys think, though? Did you just really feel something with this chapter? It just, for some reason, it really pulled at my heartstrings. Can I just read some more? What are we? We're only 9 minutes into this. I want to read and then talk about what we're feeling. We finished our meal. I walked the dark corridors back to my room. The evening had been pleasant, but I felt roiled. Here's this writing to describe what Circe's feeling, right? Instead of just not a very good writer, maybe just saying, I didn't feel good, right? Listen to how she tells you what she's feeling. I felt roiled, and muddy, my mind like river silt stirred up from its beds. I could not stop hearing Daedalus talking of his freedom. There had been such yearning in his voice, and bitterness too. Right? Can't you feel it? And then you can picture it. Like you've seen water before, and it gets stirred up and all the silt and stuff comes up off the bottom, and it's just moving there, and it hasn't cleared out and settled yet. She's got that unsettled feeling. Let me keep reading. Let's feel this together. At last, I had earned my exile, but Daedalus was innocent, kept only as a trophy for my sister and Minos. I thought of his eyes when he had spoken of Icarus, that pure, shining love. To my sister, it was no more than a tool, a sword to hang over his head and make him her slave. I remembered the pleasure on her face when she had ordered him to cut her open. She had had the same look when I stepped through her door. I had been so consumed with the Minotaur that I had not seen what a triumph this had all been for her. Not just the monster and her new fame, but everything that went with it. Daedalus forced into complicity, Minos cringing and humiliated, and all of Crete held hostage to fear. And me, I was a triumph too. She might have summoned others, but I had always been the dog she liked to whip. She had known how useful I would be, dutifully cleaning her messes, protecting Daedalus, seeing the monster safely contained, and all the while she could laugh from her golden couch. Do you like my new pet? I give her nothing but blows, yet see how she runs to my whistle. You feel in this a feeling of injustice. It's not fair, just a pawn, helpless, frustrated, can't settle. Oh, she draws it out beautifully. That's good writing. Oh, she's had her fill of Pasiphae. They get in an argument. Pasiphae says to Circe, despite your wet mouse weeping, I saw how you would not be ground into the earth. You loathed them as I did. I think it is where our power comes from. Wow. That needs to be highlighted, starred, underlined, and tabbed. I think it is where our power comes from. When you get so much of that unsettled feeling, you've had it up to here with the injustice. You want something better. And they're not offering you a way to do it, obviously. So you go inside and you find your own magic that scares the hell out of them. I like that. What else do we got? I got quite a bit underlined and highlighted. I don't really want to... This will be a long video if I go through everything. Let me see what really stands out here. And again, if I miss anything that stuck out to you guys, please always go to the comments. Tell me. Catherine, Kiva, you guys are always good at that. And there's some new ones of you coming up and leaving comments and sharing in the excitement of this amazing book. Thank you, guys. It means the world to me. I walked back through the corridors. My mind was bare, my skin bristling as if I would rise off my flesh. Every noise, every touch, the stones beneath my feet, the splash of fountains from a window crept evilly upon my senses. The air had a stinging weight like ocean waves. I felt myself a stranger to the world. She goes back to her room, sees Daedalus. They get it on. She says, after we lay beside each other, the night breeze tickling over our limbs, I thought of telling him about the quarrel of Pasiphae, but I did not want her there with us. That just stuck out to me. She just had this most beautiful, intimate moment. The night, she's settled now. She's experiencing something beautiful. And she doesn't want to bring Pasiphae into her mind, into this situation. She wants to keep this pure and good. That's an important little lesson, you know. And the reason I underlined that, because it's something I learned, and maybe this might help someone in a relationship, a marriage. It could be wife, husband, children, friends. If you're having a good time and you've created a nice atmosphere, you don't have to bring the ugly into it. Just let the moment be good. Very important. Oh. Later on, they're talking about some of the bad things that they feel responsible for. Circe feels responsible for Scylla and all the lives that'll be lost. Now help me with this, guys. You know how many times I read this book? I don't understand it, and I'm embarrassed to say, but maybe one of you, I know Catherine probably will know. What does Daedalus feel sorry for? Because he feels responsible for the Minotaur. And remember, Pasiphae said, all right, Daedalus, it's your fault. Tell Circe, you know, before the C-section, what you did. But did he do anything? He just made, from my understanding, a cow that could get close to the bull so Pasiphae could see it. That's not doing anything wrong, right? But then Pasiphae said that she effed the bull, right? So it's Pasiphae's fault, right? He just made a shelter, like a blind, right? Unless, the only thing I could think is somehow, but that wouldn't make sense either, if the bull got up onto the fake cow and had intercourse with it, but still she wouldn't be inside lined up in the right place. You know what I'm saying? So that couldn't be it, could it? That doesn't make sense. So really, I don't see what Daedalus feels bad about, right? What if he would have gave her binoculars to get a better view at it? It's her that went down and had sex with the bull. But anyway, he's feeling guilty for it. And he says, I feel the weight of it every moment. All those lives I helped make that creature, now I can't unmake it. And it got me thinking about some of the monsters we make with our words that we can't take back, our deeds that we've done that we can't take back. You know, that hit me kind of heavy. Because, you know, I told you guys, I have a lot of regrets of things I've said and done in my past. People I've hurt, you know, and then those people hurt people. And we unleash sometimes words like monsters that kill. He says, how do you bear it, he said. This is beautiful. She thinks back to Prometheus's words. She said those words were deep running roots and had waited in me all this time. We bear it as best we can, I said. We bear it as best we can. And I love that Prometheus' words were deep running his roots and had waited in me all this time. I think that's the dream of some people. For myself, I know. I think of like with, where's my Asha? I hope that my words in Asha are buried in people's hearts and will be there when they need them. Here goes my mouth again, guys. I hope I've put out enough good words instead of negative words to do more healing and good than I've done to harm. And then again, that part, it just hit me of humanity. The position we're all put in, the suffering we've all experienced, the same worries we have for the world and our children and want the best for us and ourselves and our children and our families and our friends. And we want a better world, but we sometimes can feel like it's so stacked against us. You know, it's just that, what would you even call that? Human situation that, I mean, the only way it's going to be changed is us, guys. I don't need to talk about it. I got a lot underlined here. You guys still, we almost 20 minutes into this. If you're still here, say, hey, Magus. Oh, she's thinking about, she's really liking Daedalus. But she's thinking, I'm a goddess. He's immortal. He's going to die one day. She's leaving on her ship. He gives her a crate with gifts. She says, I did not open those crates until we were out of sight. I wish I had, so I might have thanked him properly. Inside one were undyed wools and yarns and flax of every kind, and in the other the most beautiful loom I had ever seen, made from polished cedar. Beautiful gift. And throughout the rest of the story, we'll see that loom. Oh, this is sad. Oh, so sad. Daedalus and Icarus. His boy's a little older now. He's a young man. Daedalus makes 2 sets of wings. He ties his arms and his son's arms in. They go atop the highest cliff and leap. Icarus, right, he's a young man, and this is his first taste of freedom. So he's just hooping and hollering, diving and soaring, and you're just so excited for him. That feeling of freedom, son of a bitch. He keeps flying higher and higher. He's not hearing the warnings of his father. The heat of the sun is melting the wax. He doesn't notice, and he falls into the drowning waves. Circe hears about this later, and she mourns for the sweet boy's death. But I mourned more for Daedalus, winging doggedly onwards, dragging that desperate grief behind him. It was Hermes who told me of this, of course. Daedalus did not long outlive his son. Even as I'm saying that, I start to get a little choked up. Again, this book. She says, but in a solitary life, there are rare moments when another soul dips near yours as stars once a year brush the earth. Such a constellation was he to me. Oh, I want to freaking cry in front of all my friends on film here. Mwah. Oh, this book, again, when I'm done, I just put it to my chest, and I try not to weep, and I feel all the feels. Wow. Circe, chapter 11. I am beyond moved with that. Beautiful writing, beautiful story. Just, brings out so much in me. And again, I'm probably, after I turn off the camera, I'll sit here for about 10 minutes again, trying to figure out, what is that? What is that? Why does it bring out? I guess it's the father-son relationship, kind of the hopes of, there was their freedom at last. They've been waiting, they're flying free, and crash and burn. And then Circe's heart breaks, and there's that injustice and that frustration and that stirred feeling that just won't settle until we raise up our own magic and say, I've had enough of this. I'm going to make a better world for me and mine. Guys, you know this. I love, love, love you.